Hello world, it's Dave again, and I got a question and answer video here for Sophie. Sophie wrote me and asked me some questions just about when she arrives. She's going to be working with Interac. Uh, when you arrive to Interact, you have like a first week or two of training, and one of the aspects of that training is an introductory lesson that you're supposed to prepare before you come in. So she had some questions about that. Yeah. So here we go. I'll just jump into the email. I start my Interact training in a couple of weeks, and I'm trying to prepare my introductory first lesson. What I'm wondering is how much we're expected to stick to the lesson plan provided, or whether people adapt and change these using alternative games and activities. Some of the ideas I found elsewhere sound more fun and engaging than the ones that they have provided. But I am completely new to teaching, and I am worried about doing something different if they want me to just do as I am told. Um, I would say for Sophie and anybody else who's coming in to interact for this training that I wouldn't worry about that in the slightest. You just want to go in with a complete lesson plan, whether that is that you have tweaked it and done something that you think is more fun, or if you have stuck directly to what they have told you to do. It doesn't really matter. They just don't want you showing up with half of a lesson plan. Whether you made it or you were following their instructions, they want it to be complete. So if you find something particularly engaging and thoughtful, sure, do it. I mean, really, that's only going to show an extra initiative on your part because you kind of went outside the box. And I've said it in like my one other video for this, that don't stress yourself out. That don't spend unless it's personally enjoyable for you. Don't spend 20 hours making this lesson plan and refining it and refining it and refining it. Get together something that you think is good, solid, and meets the requirements, is complete, and that can be in the box or outside the box, no problem. So that I feel like that answers that question pretty good. And then she goes on to ask, also, there are some materials they asked us to bring, souvenirs, family photos, etc., that don't actually seem to be used in the lesson plans, which I thought was strange. How was it at your training? Did people come up with their own lesson plans or stick to the script the ones Interact provided? Uh, I guess, I mean, this is really brutal. I didn't prepare a lesson plan. I don't think I was like, I got the email late or something, and I was like, oh, there's not enough time. It's just too hectic. And I showed up and I just said, I'm sorry I couldn't do that aspect of it. I hope that's okay. And they said, yeah, it's not a big deal. It would have been great to see, but we understand that there's circumstances surrounding people coming sometimes that prevents them from being able to do that. Just to show, this is to highlight the point that they can be quite lenient about this, so don't overly stress. I'm not saying take my route where you're distracted and you couldn't get it done. It's good practice. Um, but don't stress too much. Okay, sorry. And I just read that thing about what you had said. There's materials that seem strange, souvenirs, family photos. This is because when you are in Interact training and you're doing your introductory lesson, that faux lesson that you're doing in that case is trying to recreate the sort of lesson you would be doing mid-term, an actual teaching lesson. And they want to see if you were teaching English, what would it be that you would create. Now, when they tell you to bring those souvenirs and family photos and stuff, what that's for is for when you first arrive to a school, you will be expected to do a self introduction. So it's not even a lesson really. It's just going to be a class where all you are going to do is talk about yourself and your home and maybe jobs that you've done in the past. You just need to occupy an hour of time where the kids get to know you, get to know your interests, where you're from, and those sort of items come in really, really handy for that sort of thing. So, like somebody will print out their country's flag. I brought in some Canadian money. I brought, I did laminates of jobs that I'd done in the past, pictures of jobs. I brought in my guitar, and I did some good like my electric, and they were kind enough to hook me up with a amp so I could actually like play for the kids. That was a fun thing. I've got like a video about that, which was pretty entertaining. It was a great experience. One of the best was my introductory lessons when I started at the school. So that's why those show up. That's why that's there. Anything that you bring that's kind of like personally oriented is going to help you when you get to the schools at first and you're doing that introduction. One other thing to note, and I have mentioned this in other videos, is that it varies so much from school to school, that introduction, where at one school that I go to, they were like, we want you to occupy the full 45, 50-minute class that you're going to be a part of. And that's the one that I did all the guitar stuff and had tons of back and forth questions with the kids. That's something else you should know, is like a large part of that lesson can be you introducing yourself, but it's tons of fun the more interactive you can make it with the kids. So you should always be welcoming questions if you can. But yeah, point being that at that one school, they got me to fill the full 50 minutes. But at another school, they were like, we just want you to do like a brief 10-minute introduction and then we're going to get into our lessons. And so that meant basically putting like a flag up on the board saying I'm from Canada, saying how many brothers and sisters I have or whatever, what a previous job was, and do you have any questions? And you may come in here. I have a rare situation, I believe, where it is I only work at 2 schools, where a lot of people work at 5, and so you're going to see a great variation between those different introductory lessons and their expectations for each. But that's what those materials are for. So yeah, there was the 2 questions there basically. Be creative in creating your first full lesson plan that you're going to show off when you go to Interact if you want to, but don't feel like you have to. And then those other objects that they told you to bring are related to the actual introductory lesson, which will vary from school to school when you first start. I also realized, now just finishing up this video, Sophie, you had written at August 7th, and so I can only imagine now that you have probably reached Japan and are into this, and so I feel like I have to apologize. This video is a bit late. But I thought your questions were so good that it was worth making the video about, because if not to help yourself, then to help other people who might have shared the same questions. So that's the reason for this. But I do apologize for being so late to respond. It's just like I said in the last video I posted, that I just went down a vacation rabbit hole, and where I had all this ambition to still work on my channel and respond to people, I did no such thing. All right, cool. That's it. Thanks for tripping with Dave. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And until we meet again next time, we'll ciao for now. Peace.